remember roller derby, the sport of a generation ago, where men and women circled the bank oval track on classic quad roller skates? Well, it's not your father's roller derby anymore.
We dominate, baby! We dominate!
Welcome to Roller Jam! And it's a brand new ball game. Inline skates. Speed on speed. Speed's what we need. Speed's in the lead. New team. The Barracuda lowers the boom. New league. Tonight, it all begins. The World Skating League presents the New York Enforcers versus the Florida Sundogs. So, are you ready to roller down? And welcome to Roller Jam Arena here at Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida. This is the World Skating League. Good afternoon. I am Ken Resnick along with my broadcast partner, Lee the Hawk Rehereman. And Hawk, it is indeed back to the future. Those of you that were roller derby fans, it was 25 years ago that roller derby sold out Madison Square Garden. And we are back in time for the new millennium. The World Skating League is indeed on the air. What an unbelievable matchup we have for this, our first televised World Skating League game of the week. Hawk, the Florida Sundogs against the New York Enforcers.
Absolutely, and we're pitting good versus evil, city folk versus country folk, north versus south, wholesome versus gruesome.
The key matchup on the women's side who will start the game, Heather Gunnin for the New York Enforcers, three-time Pan Am gold medal winner. Debbie Rice in the Guinness Book of World Records, 62 miles an hour. Here's what the two of them had to say.
Heather and I go way back. About 2 years ago, she moved to Texas. Needed a roommate, so I took her in.
Got along pretty good. There was another girl that came in the middle and started some crap, and I think that's how the friendship unraveled.
I ended up having to kick her out of my apartment because of all the trouble she was starting.
I'm not the bad girl. I just don't take any crap from the other skaters. I do what I got to do out there. I've got a job. My job is to win.
She came down to my room, barged in, and when I told her to leave, she came and pushed me in the face. So, of course, we got into a fist fight.
How could she possibly remember that? She was so plastered it wasn't even funny. You know, she had to ask people about the fight the next day, so how could she say I pushed her in her face? I honestly do not remember that. Anyways, so I'm walking back down to my room after I asked, somebody to get my friend, and she piggyback rides me and knocks me on the ground with another girl. Well, I just started, we went at it, and I started smacking her head against the wall, and, my mom was a little bit pissed because she thought I could kill her, but hey, she'll never jump on my back again. She don't want her head smacked again against the wall. I'm going to do whatever I can do at all costs to make sure that she goes down.
Boy, I tell you what, Heather Gunnin and Debbie Rice, that's a story all on its own. But now, we are moments away from today's matchup between the Florida Sundogs and the New York Enforcers. Let's go to our trackside announcer, Tom Chessie.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing from the rotten side of the Big Apple, the New York Enforcers.
In the World Skating League, there are 6 periods in a roller jam game. The women's skate periods 1, 3, and 5, and the men's skate periods 2, 4, and 6. And Hawk, as we heard, Heather Gunnin for the New York Enforcers, she is absolutely the bad girl of skating.
Well, I tell you what, there's no love lost between her and Debbie Rice, who is also both these women, they're fast, they're furious.
Now, here comes our first look at the Florida Sundogs.
And now, from the Sunshine State, let's hear it for your very own Florida Sundogs.
The Florida Sundogs clad in yellow and orange. The Florida Sundogs coached by Little Richard Brown. He has put together a team of skaters, finesse, teamwork as opposed to Mark D'Amato's win at all costs, cheat if you have to.
Well, and look at these guys, Ken. They're smiling. They're waving to the hometown crowd. The enforcers came out. I saw them like flipping off one of their 5 fingers at people. I don't want to mention which one which, but that shows you the contrast between these two teams.
An interesting sidebar to this matchup. The Florida Sundogs, one of their key skaters, Megan Mobley, is out for the year in a scrimmage, was injured by Heather Gunnin. A lot of controversy whether or not it was deliberate. Heather Gunnin injured Megan Mobley. Megan Mobley is standing by with our Nicole Katz trackside. Nicole?
I don't know if you guys can see down here, but Heather Gunnin is taunting Megan Mobley from the other side. Megan, don't you think you're a bit of a sitting duck out here, especially playing the enforcers?
No way. My team is here behind me, and that's why I'm here as well, because I'm behind my team. Doesn't bother me a bit.
Ken?
Nicole, if Megan needs a place to sit to feel safe, you can tell her she's more than welcome to come sit next to her good buddy, Hawk Lee Rehereman up here. Tell her she's more than welcome.
Okay, you're quite a gentleman.
Oh, yeah, he's a gentleman. There's no question about it. We are just about ready for the first period. I can tell you each period in the WSL consists of 6 jams. A jammer that you will see wearing the black helmets must lap the pack, and then at any time, any jammer can score by passing a member of their opponent's team. To start the period, the jammers start on the front line, followed by the blockers. From that point on, the other remaining 5 jams, the blockers start once they're lined up with the jammers at the back of the pack, and we are underway in our first jam, and right off the bat, coming out is Lindsey Francis for the Florida Sundogs, being pursued by
Chellie Rossell.
Chellie Rossell for the New York Enforcers. Remember, the jammers must catch up with the pack. Each jam lasts for 60 seconds. We are already down to 40.
Oh, big elbow by Chellie Rossell to the upper chest of Lindsey Francis, sends her right on her backside.
You see Chellie Rossell so far unable, but look at big Jannet.
Big number 16, Jannet Abraham. Oh my gosh, she is just wreaking havoc on the Sundogs. And you know what, Ken? The size of that woman, she was asking me about you earlier today. I gave her your phone number.
All right, take a look at the replay. It was big Jannet Abraham from the New York Enforcers breaking up the block set up by the Sundogs, enabling her team to jump out to a quick 2-0 lead. Chellie Rossell picks up the first 3 points of this game. Now, here's an inside look at the rules of the WSL. Each jam begins with 10 skaters, 5 from each team, in a pack at the starting line, and the jam will last up to 60 seconds. When the jam begins, the pack takes off and starts circling the track. A few skaters, called jammers, will take off and try to lap the rest of the field. You can always tell the jammers by their striped helmets. They're the only skaters who can score points on the jam. The jammers fly around the track battling each other to be the first one to reach the pack. Once a jammer catches the pack, he tries to pass as many opposing skaters as he can before the jam clock hits 0. Each opponent he passes is worth 1 point. On this jam, Amy Craig, number 30 of the California Quakes, scores 1 point for her team. We are ready to start the second jam. You see the referees try to position the pack. The Enforcers off by 3-0, and we are underway.
And here we see our first shot at number 32, Denise Loden, who we'll talk about in a second. But she propels, I believe that's Lindsey Francis again. We've been talking about her a lot today. Out as a jammer ahead of one of our marquee players, Heather Gunnin of the Enforcers.
Heather Gunnin now, 3-time Pan Am gold medal winner, certainly the fastest of the Enforcer women, being pursued by Lindsey Francis. Lindsey Francis so far being the key player for the Sundogs. Gunnin trying to get by the pack. 2 Sundogs blocking.
Well, that's Denise Loden. Denise Loden we've referred to sometimes as a enforcer in her Sundog body. Little Richard has his work cut out for him, keeping her from starting fights out there with the enforcers themselves.
And again, the whip by Denise Loden. And there you see very alertly
Jannet Abraham.
Lindsey Francis cutting off the jam. The lead jammer can put her hands on her waist. Both hands cuts off the jam. And it is now 3-1 Enforcers after 2 jams. We'll be back with more right after this.
Get online at www.rollerjam.com. Get the latest info on your favorite team. Email players and fans, even buy your favorite Jam merchandise, all with the click of a mouse. Get online and get to www.rollerjam.com.
We are back here at Roller Jam Arena at Universal Studios after 2 jams. And remember, it takes 6 to make a period. The Enforcers out by a 3-1 lead. And Hawk, so far it's about what we thought. The Enforcers, physical style of play. The Sundogs trying to finesse and fly by them.
Well, the Sundogs came out all smiling. The Enforcers came out cursing, yelling at the crowd, getting pumped up. If this is the way the game's going to go, the Sundogs are in trouble.
I think it's very appropriate. The Enforcers are clad in silver and black, reminiscent of the Oakland Raiders.
They look like the guys that beat me up last weekend.
And we are underway with Jam 3 out for the Sundogs as Andrea Franklin, 2 Sundog jammers out being pursued by one of the New York Enforcers.
That's Heather Gunnin again, our speedster Heather Gunnin.
It's Franklin and Debbie Rice. This is Heather and Debbie Rice. This is the matchup we've been looking for. The roommates, former roommates who would hate each other.
And Heather Gunnin is going around the track, tormenting the Sundogs, yelling profanities at the crowd, at the ref. She even yelled at the concession stand guy.
And we've got 2 points scored on that jam. Heather Gunnin putting up her team by now a 5-1 lead. The Enforcers out in front 5-1.
There's something about a beautiful woman yelling bad language that really turns me on, Ken.
Only if you prove you're over 21 years of age. 5-1 Enforcers. This is jam number 4. The Sundogs better be careful not to let the Enforcers just blow by them early on. Once again, here come the Enforcers.
That's number 33, Lindsey Francis, and no, excuse me, that's Linda Leisure. Number 33 out for the Enforcers.
Followed by the Florida Sundogs. It is indeed Debbie Rice, the speedster. There you see her speed, 62 miles an hour, went right by both of the Enforcer jammers. Now she's looking for a whip. Gets it.
Whip.
Now the question, the referee says no points. She lost her balance, so no points scored so far.
I think Jannet Abraham had something to do with that.
Look at Debbie Rice get right back up and again is flying around. But boy, that was costly. She had a lot of points. Debbie Rice, right there, you see a breakthrough, 2 Sundogs, and alertly call off the jam, picking up 2 very needed points.
Again, there's a good shot of Debbie Rice, the speedster for the Sundogs. She scored a couple of points, put her hands on her hips to end the jam.
Once went 62 miles an hour.
Here's Denise Loden, somebody we were mentioning earlier. She is one of the larger Sundogs, giving big elbows. We know that Richard Brown, the player coach on the male side for the Sundogs, had a tough time keeping her from being an enforcer on the track out there.
You saw Denise Loden very quickly demonstrate almost that enforcer mentality. If you could see when Jannet Abraham had her hand on the track, Denise Loden tried to smash it with her skate. Luckily for Abraham, she was able to get it out of the way. 5-3 Enforcer starting jam number 5.
I would not tick off Jannet Abraham if I was Denise Loden. That chick looks like a block in my city.
Denise Loden, no question, the quarterback of this Florida Sundog team. And once again is Denise Loden out on the jam along with Karen Magnussen. Surprisingly, we haven't seen a lot of Heather Gunnin since the first 2 jams. This is Loden and Magnussen, elbow to elbow.
And Karen Magnussen and Denise Loden are going at it elbow to elbow again. Denise Loden sends Karen Magnussen to the ground.
Now Loden, now look at Jannet Abraham calling for Denise Loden to come up and give her a try.
She wasn't calling, she was barking.
Here it is, Jannet Abraham, the big blocker, and Denise Loden. Loden's speed goes right by Abraham, already picks up 1 point. Closing in on more of the Enforcers. Can't quite get by. 15 seconds in the jam.
It's a cat and mouse game. Jannet Abraham is barking at Denise Loden. She looks hungry.
Denise Loden now goes high, trying to get by more of the Enforcers, and she does. Picks up another point. Now an Enforcer goes down on the track. 1 second, and now the jam is over. The 60 seconds expired, but a great jam right there. You see the quarterback of the Sundogs, Denise Loden. Hawk, they call her the Barracuda.
Well, I'll tell you what, we can't mention it enough. She is an aggressive player, unlike most of her Sundog teammates. But I'd like to point out here, Ken, the New York Enforcers are taking an opportunity. They're mouthing, they're squawking, they're trying to pick on a lot of the Sundogs. They're not too worried about points. I think this is a strategic move to get the Sundogs into a fist fight. Right now, Denise Loden's falling for it. She's turning into an aggressive player, getting out of the Sundog game. I think the Enforcers are making this into a shouting match and a fist fight. I like this.
Let's give you a close-up look at the quarterback of the Sundogs right there, number 32, Denise Loden.
Denise Loden is one of the superstars of the Florida Sundogs.
My nickname is the Barracuda, and it's the way that I hit and run. I hit my opponents hard, I chew them up, and then I leave them wondering what happened to them.
As the captain for the Lady Sundogs, at times Denise is at odds with the team's clean playing philosophy and her own drive to win.
I want to be the clean skater that they expect me to be. I want to work hard and I want to do everything by the book, but I tell you, it really gets hard sometimes because I've got a streak in me to where I can only be pushed so far, and once another player reaches that point with me, I mean, I just do whatever I have to do to win it.
But there's no confusion when you ask Denise about Stacy Blitch and the bod squad of the California Queens.
Stacy's a big fake just like the rest of her team. I'll take on any one of them or I'll take on all of them. It's their choice, but either way I'm going to defeat them all.
Personal rivalries aside, Denise Loden is the real thing. She keeps her competitive edge sharp with a rigorous training schedule. Denise Loden is willing to do whatever it takes to make herself and her team winners.
And we are back as the referees, Don Lastra and Sean Corbin, are getting ready to set the pack for the sixth and final jam. We are all tied up, 5 apiece. Listen to this crowd roar their appreciation. Referees waiting to set the pack, and we are off. There they go. This is the sixth and final jam.
And Ken, I want to mention that Megan Mobley, the injured skater for the Sundogs, has really gotten into this action by getting up to the edge of the track and is shouting at many of the enforcers. Of course, they inflicted the injury upon her. She's getting into the game even though she can't play.
And there we go. This is a matchup we were looking for. Heather Gunnin and Debbie Rice, toe-to-toe, elbow-to-elbow. Gunnin now so far with the lead. Debbie Rice closing on the inside. And look at Heather Gunnin, very smart move. Got by 2 Sundogs very quickly and called off the jam, certainly within her rights.
Well, Heather Gunnin and Debbie Rice, we showcased their profiles earlier. Heather Gunnin is not only using her mouth, but also using her skates to put the enforcers into a position where they actually just tied the score.
You could see that Megan...
Oh, my goodness, Ken. Heather Gunnin has just pulled the crutch away from Megan Mobley.
Now Debbie Rice and Heather Gunnin going at it. Heather Gunnin, just a bad girl of skating, going after everybody.
No, you're the one going out of the game. I'm staying there.
That's our referee, Don Lastra. He was kind of trying to keep Heather Gunnin from actually hurting herself probably, but she pulled the crutch away from the injured Sundog, Megan Mobley. Was shouting at her and shouting at everybody.
I think our Nicole is standing by with Heather Gunnin. Nicole, I don't envy you talking to this woman.
Bunch of dogs. One's injured. She can't play. She sucked before. She sucks now. Look at her. She's going to be on the infield crying like a little baby. Bring it on, baby. Bring it on.
Remember that either jam or any jammer out could score, and that's what happened in that last jam. In fact, we are all knotted at 7 following 6 jams. Now let's go to WSL Jam Center, Broadway, Danny Wolf.
Thanks, guys, and welcome to the WSL Jam Center. I'm Broadway Danny Wolf. I'll be with you all night long, all season long, giving you a different look at the World Skating League. Special guest coming in tonight and talking about Sean, the Ack Attack Atkinson. We'll get his thoughts on tonight's game. Right now, let's go to trackside to Killer Cad and Hawk.
We are getting ready for the men to come on the track here in period 2. We'll be right back with more WSL action right after this. We are back in Roller Jam Arena here at Universal Studios as you see the men for the Enforcers and Sundogs warming up. The women ended up all knotted at 7 apiece. There you see Captain Mark D'Amato of the New York Enforcers. He is very vociferous. Win at all costs. Cheat if you have to. Hawk, the most interesting thing, he is the only man in the World Skating League that still wears the old quad skates, is not wearing the inline skates. You see the 4 wheels.
Well, I tell you what, and that guy, I don't care what he's wearing, he is a mean-looking, ugly dude. He's got the crowd behind him that came down here from New York. That guy just looks ugly.
And on the other side of the coin, the captain for the Sundogs, Little Richard, preaches teamwork, speed, finesse, and interestingly enough, Hawk, the enforcers came down. Evidently, they brought a group of their own fans down from the Big Apple, and they are about as vociferous and uncontrollable as the team they back.
These guys, you call them a group. I was at the concession stand. Those guys lifted my wallet.
And I understand they didn't get very much. They were very disappointed. Look at the size of Tim Washington. Now remember, the start of each period, a close-up look at Tim Washington, the big elbow.
You could play racquetball off that guy's back. Doubles.
The referee, for the beginning of the period, the team start from the starting line. This is the only time the Jammers start in front. From then on, they have to be back in the pack. We're underway. We're knotted at 7. And here we go. This is the enforcers coming out of the pack. This is big number J.R. Widener.
And number 13, Tom Smith for the Sundogs, and they're going back and forth. It's a foot race right now.
Well, I tell you, it'll be interesting if one of the Sundogs catches up to the back of the pack, because looming in back, Tim Washington keeping a very sharp eye. Washington with a big elbow to Jonathan Russell for no apparent reason. Now, here comes Tom Smith closing on the pack. No points. Take a look.
Mark D'Amato, the leader of the enforcers, punches.
Looks like he's setting up a figure four. Now look at their fans. They are loving every minute of this.
They're hoodlums.
D'Amato and now Little Richard trying to come to the aid of his teammate Tom Smith, but so far to no avail. Now Smith getting a little bit the better to Mark D'Amato. Now just D'Amato hammering away.
And it's out of control, Ken. I tell you what, the enforcers, and I said it earlier, they want to scream, they want to make it into a shouting match and a fist fight. It looks like they're successful at making it into a quagmire.
There is no question referees Don Lastra and Sean Corbin are going to have their hands full with this matchup between the Sundogs and the enforcers, and certainly with Captain Mark D'Amato, he is something else. You talk about a wild man out of control. D'Amato still trying to get back at the Sundogs.
Well, and these guys, Tim Washington is actually over in the crowd. As we look again at Mark D'Amato, he's yelling at the referee for crying out loud.
There's big number 17, Tim Washington. He loves that elbow. Now, there you see Captain Mark D'Amato in the penalty box for the enforcers. I think it was a one jam, a minor penalty in the WSL. A major penalty, you sit out for 2 jams, a minor one, and we're underway with jam number 2.
And I tell you what, I want to check on Mark D'Amato's rap sheet. He's in the penalty box. I think he just escaped from prison.
He does look very much at home in the penalty box. I will give you that. Now, Little Richard breaking out. One of the enforcers comes out. This is John Morrissey, the Skull, being pursued by Sam Martin. They call him the Flame from his bright red hair. This is Morrissey and Martin. Big elbow by Sam Martin. Some physical play by the Sundogs. You'd like to see that. Now Martin closing on the pack.
Now Sam Martin is doing what I think the enforcers want him to do. He's not worrying about skating. He's worrying about fighting.
And Washington delivers a big elbow to Martin. Martin a little bit stunned, and Washington
calling him up.
Calling him again.
And sizing him up.
Another elbow. Little Richard now laying back, trying to help.
Now he's going to rough him up.
Washington now just turns right around. Oh, great move by Sam Martin. Goes underneath Washington. There's the speed. Picks up 1 point. 5 seconds left. He needs to get up on the pack. And another one. He goes airborne and cuts it off. 2 big points for the Sundogs by Sam the Flame Martin.
And Sam the Flame, there's that red hair we talked about. He's got that red hair. He's playing to the Sundog crowd now. He started out physically, and then he beat the enforcers at their own game. He went under Tim Washington, and he went over Brian Gamble.
But Sam Martin is a very disgusted Tim Washington.
Look at the size of that guy.
He is a little unhappy. Martin, what a great move. Went right under him. And now take a look at this from Tim Washington.
What's your name, Dave Gletty, you redneck chump? When I come out of Florida, I'm gonna bust you up with my redneck radar, baby. Bang! Bang! All over you!
Wow. Tim Washington talking about that redneck radar of his in the elbow, and he is targeting, he has told us, David Gletty. It's the big city boy, Tim Washington, talking about David Gletty for the Sundogs, the alligator wrestler.
And they're not even playing yet, and he is going to the head of David Gletty, big Tim Washington.
David Gletty wrestles alligators. In fact, he told me he is 75-0, but I would have to think, Hawk, once you lose, you may lose permanently.
Well, and I've seen a lot of alligators, and I haven't seen one as big as Tim Washington.
It is 9-7 Sundogs. You know, Hawk, that would be a good occupation for you, alligator wrestling.
Or feeding you to the alligator.
I'll bet on the gator. And there you see Captain Mark D'Amato giving his jammer a whip, trying to pick up speed as the enforcers right now are out on the track. This is David Gavagni for the Enforcers, being pursued by Sam the Flame Martin.
Actually, that's Jonathan Russell, I believe, who's coming up with a big elbow to the chest of Dan Gavagni.
It is Russell, and now both the Sundogs go down, and there you see a smart move. This thing's got a little disorganized. Dan Gavagni calling off the jam.
He came around and he saw that there was no opportunity. And he was going to. He knew he couldn't get to some more points, so he called off the jam. So the Sundogs couldn't either.
There you see Captain Mark D'Amato, the leader, the captain of the New York Enforcers. Here's a close-up look at the wild man, Mark D'Amato.
Mark D'Amato, captain of the New York Enforcers, isn't someone you'd bring home for dinner.
There's only two things that make me happy: violence and revenge.
D'Amato keeps his body strong by lifting weights, and he keeps his mind strong with bone-chilling focus.
When I step on that track, I am a complete maniac, and my goal is to win games at any cost.
D'Amato is threatened by no one, but everyone is threatened by D'Amato. When D'Amato and fellow enforcer Big Tim Washington step into the picture, look out.
Before each game, Tim Washington and I will single out a jammer, and we will methodically hammer them into submission. The move I use to finish off my opponents is called the Screamer. Basically, it's a flying scissor kick to the abdomen. Nobody has survived it.
And for those who dismiss the Enforcers as a bunch of no-talent bullies,
we are bullies, but our record shows that we are talented and we win games.
I'm sick of this crap. This interview's over. There is Captain Mark D'Amato. He is, without question, his philosophy is the New York Enforcers. Win at all costs, cheat if you have to. In fact, Hawk, I would not be surprised that he likes to cheat every possible instance. But right now, it is the Sundogs 9, the Enforcers 8, as we are underway with this jam.
I still want to get a copy of his rap sheet, because I think by halftime we might put him back in the lockup.
And it's Brian Gamble now, the lead blocker, coming up with a whip to break free. His New York Enforcer on the jam, coming around the track for the Enforcers. This is a skull, John Morrissey. In fact, two jammers out for the Enforcers, Fred Eichhorn and John Morrissey. Now, here comes one of the Sundog jammers out. Remember, on any given jam, any jammer can score. This is Pasi Schalin, a former Edmonton Oiler in the National Hockey League, the fastest of the Sundog men, now skating, and he bypassed both the Enforcers.
That's number 19, Pasi Schalin. He doesn't speak real good English, but he's really fast. He refers to himself simply as the king.
Great move by Pasi Schalin, going by one of the New York Enforcers and quickly calling off the jam because he was followed up very closely by two Enforcer jammers. Here's Pasi Schalin. Now watch this alert move by Schalin. He is able to go by one of the Enforcers, get the point, and very quickly cutting off the jam. What happens? Any jammer at any time can put both hands on his waist and cut off the jam. It is 10-8 Sundogs. Now remember, fans, if you find yourself here at Universal Studios in the Orlando area, you can be a part of our live studio audience. Feel the excitements as the teams of the WSL fight it out live. For more information, call the number on your screen. Free tickets are available. Call today and come visit Roller Jam with us here at Roller Jam Arena at Universal Studios. 10-8 Sundogs, and the jam is underway.
And we've got Big Tim Washington out in front of the pack. It's going to be tough for anybody to get around him.
Tim Washington, his style of play, he stays out in front to break one of the Enforcers free, and then you see Washington drop right back to the back of the pack as this is Captain Mark D'Amato out jamming for the Enforcers. I don't quite understand why Mark D'Amato uses the quads. They certainly are not as fast as the inline. Now, D'Amato and Little Richard. Oh, D'Amato, great move, goes low and goes by two of the Sundogs, and now D'Amato calls off the jam, picking up a number of big points for his Enforcer team.
Well, if you don't like something about him, I suggest you go tell him.
I'll leave that to you, but surprisingly, a little bit of finesse right there. You see Captain Mark D'Amato of the New York Enforcers. His team now in the lead, 12-10. Now you see Mark D'Amato switching helmets. At any time during a period, players on the track can interchange their black jammer helmets as D'Amato gets nose-to-nose with Little Richard, captain of the Sundogs. Referee Don Lastra breaks it up, but at any time, a skater can switch, not during a jam, but between jams, can go from the black jammer helmet to the white blocker helmet.
And Ken, it's obvious there's no love lost between these guys. These two cagey veterans, and I tell you what, Mark D'Amato, with his cheat at all cost, is trying to get Richard Brown into a fist fight. He's already got him into a shouting match.
I'll tell you what, Hawk, I don't think there's any love lost between Mark D'Amato and anybody.
I don't think there was any love to begin with.
You will go out of the game.
Well, I'm glad to see referee Don Lastra doing what he can to control Mark D'Amato. I mean, it's obvious. He knows Little Richard's coaching philosophy is based on keeping his team focused on the action and scoring. D'Amato doing everything he can to throw them off that focus.
Well, not only is he doing that, but those boys, as we're now calling them from the crowd, are harassing the Sundogs. I'm wondering if maybe later in the show we can get a shot of those guys and try to find out where they're from.
All right, we're underway with our sixth and final jam of the period. The Enforcers lead at 12-10. Now as they come around the track, this is for the Enforcers. And the lead jammer, J.R. Widener, being pursued by Sam the Flame Martin. Widener and Martin. Enforcers lead at 12-10. 44 seconds to go in this jam of the 60-second jam.
Well, this seems to be the pattern. The Enforcers start a fight or a shouting match and then immediately allow some of their players to totally immerse themselves in playing the game.
Sam Martin, the recipient of the big Tim Washington elbow a second and third time, and now again Sam Martin. This is the second time we've seen him on a lead jam and lose his balance. But now Washington goes down. David Gletty and Washington. Gletty going back. Look at he and Washington nose to nose, shoving Washington down.
Well, David Gletty was eyed up Washington. He was preoccupied with Sam Martin. Comes around and maybe gave Tim Washington a little bit of his own medicine. Let's call this the red-haired radar.
Take a look at this. Tim Washington very unhappy. Now watch what happens. Watch Widener go right over the rail and down to the concrete. And now here it is. There's Gletty and Tim Washington. Remember, earlier on, Washington told us he has that redneck radar and he is targeting David Gletty. And now let's go to Jam Center, and we understand Dan Wolf with a special guest. Dan?
That's right, guys. My guest right now, Sean, the Ack Attack Atkinson, one of the skaters on the California...
Whoa. The superstar of the Quakes.
You're not a star yet.
Oh, baby, I'm not a star. I'm a superstar.
Superstar. It's easy, Sean. You have to establish yourself in the league first.
Toss to the palm, remain calm. Man, I do not want to hear you.
Let's talk about the skating right now, if we can. What have you seen so far tonight between these Sundogs? What's so funny?
They're a joke. They're a joke.
Who, the Enforcers or the Sundogs?
Both of them. Sundogs look like a bunch of dancing bananas. The Enforcers, they're old. Yappa dabba doo.
We're going to go right now back to Ken and Hawk, trackside.
Well, you couldn't exactly expect unbiased comments from Sean Atkinson of the Quakes.
Well, he has always been a mouther to begin with. And there's no love lost between him and any of these guys. So we got lots more action. He hit the nail on the head. Here we go.
With the score 12-11 Enforcers, we'll be back with the women right after this.
Get online at www.rollerjam.com. Get the latest info on your favorite team. Email players and fans, even buy your favorite Jam merchandise, all with the click of a mouse. Get online and get to www.rollerjam.com.
We are back here at Roller Jam Arena, Universal Studios. The Enforcers lead this one 12-11 as we're getting ready to start period 3, of course, which is the women's period. And again, after what we saw, Hawk, in the first period, keep your sharp eyes glued on Heather Gunnin and Debbie Rice. Nicole, what do you have for us?
Well, Ken, I completely agree with you. Heather Gunnin and Debbie Rice are the two to watch. Heather Gunnin actually kicked the crutch out from underneath Megan Mobley, the injured Sundog, and her and Debbie Rice were screaming profanities at each other, things that I am not going to say on television before this matchup. I think these next 6 jams are going to be extremely exciting.
Thank you, Nicole. There you see the referee setting the teams. Again, it's Heather Gunnin and Debbie Rice, former roommates. Heather Gunnin, 3-time Pan American Games gold medal winner in speed skating. Debbie Rice, Guinness Book of Records, 62 miles an hour. And right off the bat, coming out, it is indeed Heather Gunnin for the Enforcers, along with
the 34, that's Kathy Evangelo.
Haven't heard much about Cathy. Cathy also a very quick skater, and so far staying right with Heather Gunnin. I think Magnussen shown a little bit more physical prowess than we came to expect from her.
And Heather Gunnin knocks her just about off the track.
So much for Karen Magnussen staying with it. Now you see Denise Loden keeping a sharp eye on Heather Gunnin. Loden, the quarterback of the Sundogs, staying back as a blocker, elbow to elbow. Gunnin so far unable to get fire. Under 20 seconds left in the jam.
And if there's one person that can take a mouth and a skate to Heather Gunnin, it's Denise Loden of the Sundogs. And she looks like she's doing that right now as she buckles Heather Gunnin.
Denise Loden, without question, the most physical of the Sundogs, leaving her feet, trying to butt block, unable to get Gunnin down. We're down to 2 seconds. And now, you know, see there what happened. One of the Sundog blockers lost her balance, went into the rail. Gunnin was able to get fire and pick up a quick point. But a tremendous, tremendous effort by Denise Loden, now going jaw to jaw with Karen Magnussen.
And I tell you what, Ken, I said it before, I'll say it again. There's something about women fighting out here that just really gets me excited. I don't like when the men do it, they shouldn't, but the women fight away. Let them go.
Now take a look. And there you see Kathy Evangelo head first over the railing, and believe you me, when they go over the railing, it is just a concrete floor here at Roller Jam Arena. Certainly Karen Magnussen, hopefully she's all...
And it's really getting ugly down there, Ken. We've got people yelling at each other, people smacking each other in the helmet. I wonder if our referees are letting them play or if we're going to try to get a handle on these folks.
All right, it is 13-11, the Enforcers, as we begin jam number 2 of this third period. Out for the Enforcers, Gina Lombardo, rather for the Sundogs, Gina Lombardo. 2 Sundog jammers out, and 1 of the New York Enforcers, Chellie Rossell. 2 dogs, 1 enforcer.
2 dogs and 1 enforcer.
I knew you'd like that.
Sounds like a bad movie with women fighting. This is great, Ken.
I knew you'd like that. Gina Lombardo, the lead jammer, and now down go one of the Sundogs and the enforcer. Gina Lombardo going up, goes by 2 more enforcers and calls off the jam. Lombardo, great, great move, picking up 2 points for the dog. You see Jannet Abram arguing with referee Sean Corbin. Jannet Abram, without question, the biggest gal here in the World Skating League.
On earth, biggest gal on earth.
She is some kind of blocker. Again, we are all knotted as we start jam number 3 at 13 apiece. The yellow and orange Sundogs and the black and silver New York Enforcers. Now this is Denise Loden coming out for the Sundogs wearing the jammer helmet, battling Karen Magnussen. This is Loden and Magnussen. We looked at this matchup. Magnussen, very, very physical, along with Heather Gunnin.
Well, and I tell you what, I've said it before, but the Enforcers are getting the Sundogs into this battle of elbows, battle of mouths. They're getting them out of their game, and I think it's a ploy on behalf of Mark D'Amato. As
now you see Denise Loden throws down her elbow, challenging Magnussen, tries to get Magnussen. Again, you might be right. The Enforcers trying to keep this a low-scoring game against the certainly faster Sundogs. It is Loden and Magnussen.
This is great.
Katie by the door.
This is great.
Sean Corbin, stay out of the way on this one.
They're pulling hair. They're beating our ref up. This is great. Oh, I love this.
You are a sick human being.
I'm a man.
Denise Loden, certainly the most physical of the enforcers. Little Richard trying to get between them. There you see Denise Loden, very pleased with herself. Little Richard outside of the track going to get his helmet. You can see the disgust on Little Richard. This is not the style of play he likes to see from the Florida Sundogs.
Well, and I tell you what, if any of you wives are at home watching, I want you to go wake up your husband, because 2 women are in the penalty box.
There's the replay. There you see the elbow from Denise Loden.
So they
now
put
they
Magnussen
go off come the helmets, and there they go. Sean Corbin, that's about the last place he wanted to be. Magnussen and Loden. And I think you're exactly right when you, Hawk, earlier said Denise Loden is an enforcer in a Sundog jersey. Boy, does she like to get physical, but the Sundogs need that. Let's go down to the penalty box.
Yeah. 2, it started out at 1 and you tucked your way into a second.
My team?
You just worry about that next side.
Come on. Come on.
Well, I'll tell you, Hawk, it may well be the Enforcer's plan to get Denise Loden off the track to take advantage of her being gone, because none of the other Sundogs are anywhere near as physical as Loden.
Well, we have both of the women, Magnussen and Loden, in the penalty box, and as the brilliant designer of this arena did, he put them within about 4 feet of each other in the center of a track. What great thinking.
Now this is Lindsey Francis now out jamming for the Sundogs as they come around the track along with Chellie Rossell. Rossell, I think, one of the most physical of the Enforcers.
Well, and with Denise Loden in the penalty box, it looks like the Enforcers are trying to take full advantage because Loden is their leader on the track.
And there you see a good close-up of Chellie Rossell taking the whip from her teammate Tootle. And Rossell gets some points on the board and cuts off the jam. Smart move by Chellie Rossell.
And we pointed it out with Denise Loden in the penalty box. The Enforcers took full advantage.
By the way, if you want to feel like a part of the World Skating League, you can call now and become a member of the PAC, the official Roller Jam fan club. You'll receive a monthly newsletter filled with information and profiles on all of the players here in the World Skating League. Take advantage of the preferred PAC seating when you visit us in person here at Roller Jam Arena, as well as sweepstakes, live excitement. Become a member of the PAC. Now we're back to the jam. This is the 5th jam. It is 15-3 Enforcers. Now out for the Enforcers is Linda Leisure coming around the track for the Sundogs, of course, Kathy Evangelo, but you can really see the Sundogs Hawk miss the physical presence of Denise Loden, who, by the way, is still nose-to-nose with Magnussen in the penalty box.
And Ken, if we get a shot of the penalty box, our two people in the penalty box are face-to-face, nose-to-nose, mouthing at each other.
Here comes Lindsey Francis closing on in the pack. The Sundogs holding hands, but they're back to block. Jannet Abrams, watch Abrams now try and break up these two Sundogs.
Oh, yeah.
Doing exactly that. Great teamwork. Linda Leisure picks up 2 points, cuts off the jam.
And Jannet Abraham looked hungry. She went through, she sized up the 2 poor, hapless Sundogs and brought down the hammer. The Abraham hammer. The Abrahammer. That's the Abrahammer from now on, Ken.
Jannet Abraham always looks hungry. There is Megan Mobley, the injured Sundog, and I'll tell you right, Hawk, with Loden coming out of the penalty box off, and Megan Mobley injured out for the year, the Sundogs women really at a disadvantage, because I think other than Denise Loden, Mobley, without question, the most physical of the Sundogs women skaters.
Well, and what she's doing right now is I think, what the Enforcers are trying to do. Megan Mobley is at the corner of the track screaming and yelling profanity, which is exactly the kind of game the Enforcers want to get the Sundogs into.
17-3 Enforcers. This is the 6th and final jam of the period. Now you see Denise Loden. She should be fresh on this jam coming out of the penalty box. Loden, along with her teammate Debbie Rice, the fastest women's skater in the world according to the Guinness Book of Records, 62 miles an hour. This is what the Sundogs need. Loden and Rice out in front, coming up on the pack now. Loden sets her up for the whip. Underneath Debbie Rice. What a great move by Debbie Rice. Unbelievable. And now Loden getting into it again. There you see Denise Loden.
Denise Loden is taking things into her own hands. She just threw, I think that's Chellie Rossell, yeah.
Chellie Rossell, certainly the most physical of the Enforcer women, with our apologies to Jannet Abrams. Just Abrams, of course, through her size. Here's that great move. The whip from Loden underneath 2 Enforcers goes Debbie Rice, picks up 2 big points to bring the Sundogs even closer.
Well, Denise Loden, if you can watch the replay from this angle, throws Debbie Rice right underneath the 2 Enforcers.
Now standing by on the infield with Denise Loden, the quarterback of the Sundogs, Nicole Katz. Nicole?
Denise, that was an awesome double tomahawk. Now, I want to know, don't you think that the Enforcers are trying to get you to scoop to their level? Start fighting like they're fighting and distract from your concentration.
No, I never play dirty. I'm a clean skater. I always skate clean. They're pushing me too far. I had to take matters into my own hands. I knew what they were going to do the whole time. They're very predictable. We got them. We're going to win. They're garbage, and they're getting taken out today.
Nicole, it is halftime here at Roller Jam Arena. The Enforcers lead this one by 2, but Hawk, a great, exciting first half.
Well, and the Enforcers came in here, and we thought they were the big favorite. And they're not showing a huge lead on the scoreboard, but they are getting these Sundogs into their kind of play with a shouting match, and it's a fist fight. They're out of their game. They're wanting to fight, scream at each other, which I don't agree with it, but we'll see how it plays out.
But accolades to Little Richard. For the most part, he has kept the Sundogs very focused on this. We'll be back with halftime highlights, Roller Jam Center, and more right after this. Welcome back to Roller Jam Arena. We're at halftime here at Universal Studios. The Enforcers lead the Sundogs 17-15, and Hawk, the first half has been all we could have asked for and more.
Well, we pitched this as being wholesome versus gruesome. At least I pitched it as being wholesome versus gruesome. And you're gruesome. We've had fights, we've had great skating, we've had points.
And that was just here in the broadcast booth.
Before the game, but we've had it all.
Certainly the Enforcers' physical style of play under Coach Mark D'Amato, Little Richard keeping the Sundogs very focused. The men, and of course we can't forget what a battle brewing between Tim Washington with that redneck radar. Boy, he has David Gletty squarely in his sights.
Well, when he's going down the track and these guys are trying to either get past him or he comes up upon them, look out. I'm going to send him to your room next weekend.
And on the women's side, in fact, joining us now, Heather Gunnin of the Enforcers. Heather, we have heard there's absolutely no love lost between you and Debbie Rice, but on the track it almost looks like you're more intent on doing physical bodily injury to Debbie Rice than scoring any points.
It's both. I want to get her out of the game, and I want to get my team up there.
Now let me ask you, in fact, we've got a replay we'll take a look at. Look what you did to Megan Mobley. I mean, this is totally uncalled for. An injured skater, just watching the action. You kick the crutch out for her and then go back for more.
She needs to watch it from the sidelines and just like the stands,
Heather Gunnin, certainly no friend to anyone, and I must say, you certainly live up to the bad girl of skating nickname richly deserved.
Yep.
She is indeed, boy. She is something else.
I was speechless. I couldn't even say anything. I couldn't stop staring at her. Sorry.
You speechless may be the first time in history, but staring at Heather Gunnin doesn't surprise me.
She is Beauty and the Beast captured in one human being.
Now, you have heard Hawk refer to wholesome versus gruesome. Nothing could illustrate it more than the differences in the workouts of Tim Washington of the Enforcers and the Gator wrestler David Gletty of the Sundogs. Take a look at this.
Meet Big Tim Washington, one of the New York Enforcer bad boys. Washington's a former high school football and track star. He's now into martial arts, bodybuilding, and boxing. At 6'4" and weighing in at a whopping 270 pounds, Washington is one guy you definitely don't want to tick off. Today, Big Tim Washington will be butting heads with Florida Sundog David Gator Boy Gletty. These two are as different as night and day, and have no love for one another, to say the least. Washington has a reputation as one of the dirtiest skaters in roller jam, while Gletty likes to play by the rules. But Gletty is no wimp. Hey, this guy got his nickname, Gator Boy, because he gets his kicks by wrestling alligators. Gletty's part Blackfoot Indian. Just give him a knife, and he'd have no trouble surviving in the wild. Today we'll see how his country workout routine and his survivalist talents translate onto the track as he goes up against Big Tim Washington and the rest of the New York Enforcers.
It's halftime in the WSL Jam Center. Broadway Danny Wolf with Sean the Attack Atkinson. What a workout package we just saw. Did you see Dave? What are you
Dave Gletty, hollow logs. Oh, baby, that's real tough. Love your ponytail, my man. Goldilocks.
How about chopping wood?
Where's the three bears?
What about Sean? How about the chopping wood? Very impressive. That was awesome.
Hey, I need, I got a chimney. Hey, baby, bring some over. I need some.
Well, all right. Sean, what's your workout regimen? You're not impressed by Gletty and Washington. Let's hear about
my
your
workout regimen. Man, I grab a little beauty, snuggle up on the couch, and you know what I'm saying.
The less I know about that, the better, Sean. Right now, we're going to go to a couple highlights from the first half, and first, we're going to look at Sam the Flame Martin, and watch this. What do you call this move?
Guess what? Happy birthday to Sean.
Tim Washington, goodbye on that.
Flame out.
And now watch, you'll see Brian Gamble coming up, trying to take Martin out at the end of the gym. Oh, what a jump over Gamble.
Oh, he's great.
That doesn't impress you either, does it?
He's a two-pick. Stick, boy.
Right now, Enforcer slim lead. It's halftime. We'll be back right after this.
We are back, getting ready to start period 4. It'll be the men on the track here at Roller Jam Arena. The Enforcers lead this one 17-15. Hawk, Early on, Captain Mark D'Amato talked about his 5-borough lineup representing all 5 boroughs of New York City. How do you think they've done so far?
Well, as we mentioned, they say that, and the media guy says because they profess they have at least 5 ways to kick your ass.
Your favorite line?
My favorite statement of all time. They've done about 3 ways to kick your ass. We'll see what happens in the second half.
I don't know, Hawk. You say they've only done 3. I think Big Mr. Washington for the New York Enforcers may have a half a dozen all by himself.
Yeah, but he only represents 1 borough, Ken. You didn't listen. You didn't read the press clippings, man.
He's big enough. His backside could be an entire borough by itself. Again, you see the referees starting the jammers. They go from the starting line to start each period. After that, they start at the back of the pack. And right off, it's David Gletty for the Florida Sundogs. And number 11 for the New York Enforcers is J.R. Widener. David Gletty, the alligator wrestler, has got a clear shot at the pack, but looming, look who's in the back of the pack when Gletty comes around. It's Big Tim Washington with that redneck radar.
Well, here comes the redhead coming up against the redneck radar. Let's see if the redneck or the redhead. Here we go.
Washington with the elbow. Gletty remains on his track. Now the knee to the midsection. Gletty still on now. Washington takes him down with a headlock. Now look at Washington. Turn right around. He's going back after Gletty, adding insult to injury. Referee calls off the jam. Very alertly gets in between Washington and Gletty, but little good it does. Look at Gletty cocking that haymaker. Now the referees pull Tim Washington off. David Gletty holds up his hand. I don't blame him. I wouldn't want any part of Tim Washington either.
That's like trying to get in front of a bus.
Now take a look at the replay. This is what precipitated the action. Here's a redneck. No, it was the knee.
The red knee radar.
Almost a fake by Washington, the elbow, then he went with the knee. Now he takes him down by the neck.
Looks like a face rake.
Now let's see. Nicole is down in the infield. Nicole, what do you have for us?
Well, David Gletty, now I know you can wrestle alligators, but do you really think you can handle 5 more jams with Big Tim Washington?
I'm trying to play by the rules, but apparently we need to change the way we play because these guys cheat, grab. We're not afraid of them.
Well, and that is evident of what the Enforcers have tried to do, is to get the Sundogs into a fist fight as opposed to playing their clean game. Richard Brown has not been successful in keeping it a clean game. The Enforcers are getting the middle edge.
And we've got jam number 2 underway. No scoring in that one. It is still 17-15 Enforcers. Now you see the pattern. Tim Washington, Mark D'Amato, a double whip, sending Dan Gavagni out for the Enforcers. So far being pursued now. One of the Sundogs is coming up, but this is Gavagni leading the jam.
And that's Pasi Schalin in fast pursuit. He's a speedster.
Pasi Schalin, the fastest of the men's Sundog skaters. Pasi Schalin, former Edmonton Oiler. There's a little physical preference. Oh, Gavagni out over the railing onto the floor. Couldn't regain his balance. Schalin, now look at Mark D'Amato, throws down the helmet.
Takes off his helmet.
There's Gavagni getting back on the track.
Takes off his gloves.
Mark D'Amato going after with Pasi Schalin.
If he takes off his pants, I'm leaving.
I don't blame you. Again, Mark D'Amato and Pasi Schalin at the back of the pack. Again, Schalin unable to get anywhere near the pack. D'Amato takes him down with a headlock, deliberately trying to end it.
Pasi Schalin.
And look at a body press by Mark D'Amato. Body drop. Pasi Schalin, the former Edmonton Oiler. You can see grimacing in pain. Now look at D'Amato with a bench, tries to throw it at Schalin.
That's above and beyond the Call of Duty. They profess to cheat. They profess to try to get other teams out of their game. But when you start throwing my furniture, that ticks me off, Ken.
Thankfully, Pasi Schalin able to get out of the way of the bench. Now look at Mark D'Amato nose to nose with the referee.
They've got 3 bald guys going at it.
Referee Sean Corbin obviously ordering Mark D'Amato to the penalty box. D'Amato unhappy about it. Now the Sundogs try to, now look at. Bench. Mark D'Amato saying he's going to have the referee's job. That would be scary. Now watch, take a look at this replay. Look at D'Amato. Goes right for it, goes for a headlock and deliberately takes Schalin into the railing. And down he goes, the old Texas Bulldog. Captain Mark D'Amato of the Enforcers now shoves the referee out of the way and goes right back, flying body press on Pasi Schalin. Now he goes for the bench.
And here comes the bench. First he hits him, he grabs him by the head, then he lands on him. Now he starts pulling things out of the floor and throwing them at the guys. Our referees have really got to get a handle on this.
Now take a look
to little Richard Brown. We've got the two senior citizens from both teams are going at it.
Now Mark D'Amato coming out of the penalty box. This could warrant ejection if the referees so desire. D'Amato and Little Richard about as opposite as you could get. Referee trying to get between them, but boy, they are going down. Finally, referee Sean Corbin separates the two, and hopefully we can get some order restored.
Let's see if we can listen. I think we might, if our technical people down there can maybe get Nicole or at least a microphone over there.
Get off the bench in the first place. Go sit down.
The referees obviously are trying to get some order. I don't know if we can get some sound. I think when Mark D'Amato hit our cameraman, I think he took out half our staff.
Mark D'Amato now again, Sean Corbin nose to nose. D'Amato, remember, in the World Skating League, if you accumulate 6 jams worth of penalties, you are ejected from the remainder of the game. And I'll tell you what, we don't have a final tally, but Mark D'Amato is getting dangerously close. And Hawk, good news, it looks like the bench is still intact, because I knew otherwise you wouldn't have any place to sleep tonight.
Well, and we wouldn't get our beautiful young women. When they fight, it's okay. I want them close to each other.
It is 17-15, something you don't see here in the WSL very often. We've had 2 straight scoreless jams. Big Tim Washington out in front for the New York Enforcers.
He's got the redneck radar queued up and ready.
Jonathan Russell, the lead blocker for the Sundogs. And now the whip.
So here comes Sam Martin. He's got that red hair. They call him the Flame. He's coming around. He's a speedster. Doesn't have much size to him. Him against Tim Washington is like Spike the dog against the big dog, whatever they call it.
Sam Martin goes down. Martin has really been having a tough jam. Just can't get around anywhere near the pack. We only have 10 seconds left in this jam. Hawk, I can't remember the last time I've seen 3 straight scoreless jams.
Well, that's true. And you look at Sam Martin, he's a finesse player. These physical guys, he's not used to taking shots to the head, the back, the nose. He's getting all of them.
3 straight scoreless jams, and I think it's very apparent. Mark D'Amato and the Enforcers realize they don't have the speed to stay with the Sundogs. Their strategy, keep the game low, keep it close, and hope physical dominance wins out. I'll tell you what, one thing, Sam Martin is about as fast a skater. In fact, take a look at what Sam Martin, there you see him, has to say about his skating style.
Man, the Enforcers are out there. They're huge guys, but they're trying to knock me off my skates, and they say that I have a hunchback style. I'm sorry. It's just keeping my center of gravity low. I'm the best jammer out there, and there's no way that they're going to knock me off my skates.
There you see Sam Martin. I'll tell you, Hawk, that hunched-over skating style coming from Minnesota reminds me of a neighboring Wisconsinite, Eric Heiden, and all he did was win 5 Olympic gold medals.
You saw Sam Martin hanging out with a bunch of the Sundog women. He's got the right idea, my brother.
I don't know about you, Hawk. Now it's Little Richard battling J.R. Widener, and they both go into the rail. We have had 3 straight scoreless jams. Jam number 5 of this 4th period, and the score is still just 17-15. The Enforcers in the lead. Now out for the Sundogs. Jonathan Russell being pursued by J.R. Widener.
Well, Jonathan Russell also looks like he's got a little Eric hiding in him. And here comes
I'll tell you what, if we catch up the pack, look at Gletty and Tim Washington going at it. Gletty and Washington, again, the referees call off the jam.
We built this as the big matchup, and we weren't 10 seconds into the jam, and these guys are going at it. The Gator Boy versus Big Tim Washington, the redneck versus the redhead.
Absolutely unbelievable. This is the 4th straight jam that we have seen going scoreless.
And Don LaPasta, actually his name's Lastra, I call him LaPasta.
Now remember, for those of you that want to feel like you're personally a part of the World Skating League, you can now become a member of the PAC, the official fan club of Roller Jam and the WSL. You'll pick up monthly newsletters chock full of information and profiles on all the players here in the World Skating League, and you can take advantage of preferred PAC seating here when you join us live at Roller Jam Arena in Universal Studios.
And I'm sending them to your house, Ken.
All right, this is the 6th and final jam of the period. It is 18-16. Evidently, I correct myself, the Enforcers did get 1 point on that last jam before the referees called it. Now, Little Richard takes a whip from David Gletty, and down goes Little Richard. Evidently, our scoreboard clock is off. This is only jam number 5. And now the New York Enforcers coming around totally unopposed is Fred Eichhorn, now trying to catch up to him as a Flame, Sam Martin.
Our speedster, Sam Martin, we showcased him earlier, closing in and passing easily. Fred Eichhorn, and a big elbow to the head, the Flame, a big elbow.
Sam Martin showing not only speed, but some physical play as well, but now hanging back of the pack. This is Mark D'Amato. He calls himself the most dangerous man in skating. Oh, Martin goes right around him with a speed and very quickly cuts off the jam. Smart move by Sam Martin.
Well, we showcased earlier the skates of Mark D'Amato as he pushes Sam Martin. Mark D'Amato wears the quad skates, the roller skates, if you will, which are not nearly as fast, had no chance of Sam Martin blasting past him.
It was a very close game. Now as we'll be setting up for the sixth and final jam of the period. 18-17, Hawk again. What a great matchup. The Sundogs taking every bit of physical play from the Enforcers and staying close. Take a look at this move by Sam Martin.
Well, here he goes against Eichhorn, knocks him down. So he takes the physical to the Enforcers, but then shortly after that, he got knocked to his rear end by Mark D'Amato.
There you see a close-up look at the pack. Now remember, once the first jam is underway, the pack must be formed. They have been formed, and we are underway with the sixth and final jam. Tim Washington out in front. Boy, I'll tell you what, Tom Smith tried to give him a bump block, and had little or no effect on Washington. And now Little Richard goes by Washington. Here comes the captain, Little Richard of the Florida Sundogs. They traded by one, being pursued by Brian Gamble.
The senior citizen. He's like your age, kid. What's he still doing out there?
Oh, you are bad. And down goes Gamble. Little Richard closing in on the pack. His Sundogs trail us by one. 30 seconds remaining. Look at Mark D'Amato waiting for him. Mark D'Amato, the two captains of the teams, the Enforcers and the Sundogs. Mark D'Amato saying, come get me. Just Little Richard now saying, just a minute.
We've been setting it up all night. Here's Mark D'Amato, number 20 for the Enforcers, number 12, Little Richard for the Sundogs. Here they go.
Little Richard, there's the experience, goes right by D'Amato. Look at the laughing Mark D'Amato on the keister. Little Richard, oh, is he happy. What a great move.
Looked like a Michael Jordan spin move around Shaq.
Look at Mark D'Amato. He absolutely cannot believe it. Little Richard could not be any happier.
He's hooping, he's hollering, he's got the crowds going. I think he was just gloating a little bit to the boys we were talking about from New York.
I'll tell you what.
Found out who those guys are.
Look at this move. Little Richard waited, got his head of speed. Whoops, no, I'm going. Faked him right, went left, and Mark D'Amato found nothing but railing. Little Richard tying this game up at 18-0. Is he a happy camper?
Well, he's had the Sundogs all day starting to play more and more aggressive. He's taken a little bit of the medicine to the Enforcers, but I'm still not convinced, Ken. It's not a ploy by the Enforcers to get the Sundogs into their game.
Nicole, what do you have for us?
Hey, Little Richard, I mean, I hate to say this, but you are really good for an old guy. How'd you get those moves out?
Just something that came over the years, but it's just for him especially. He think he's great, he's dirty, finesse him. Beat him with finesse, that's our game.
Hey, Nicole, what do you mean by calling Little Richard an old guy? As we get ready, as the women are warming up for period number 5, let's go to more information on roller jam rules.
Hi, I'm Sean Atkinson, captain of the California Quakes.
Oh, Daddy, it's over.
I'm Eric Slopey, the white pony.
Eric Slopey for the Quakes.
And we're here today to show you the do's and don'ts of blocking here in the World Skating League.
It's simple. You're allowed to use your elbow, but never use your elbow in an upward or downward motion. Plus, you can never use your hands. And you're allowed to use your knee, but never your foot.
For example, this is legal. This is also legal. And finally, you can use your knee. You can use all of that in the pack.
This is illegal. The use of hands, illegal. Also, an elbow in an upward motion, definitely illegal.
We are back. You see the women on the track as they're loosening up for period number 5. It will be their final period of action unless we go into overtime. We are all knotted at 18 between the Enforcers and the Sundogs. We'll be back with period 5 action right after this. Back awaiting the start of period number 5 here at Roller Jam Arena. The Sundogs, the Enforcers, all knotted up at 18 apiece. And Hawk, after what Heather Gunnin told us at halftime, if I was Debbie Rice, I wish I had eyes in the back of my head because she made no bones. She is out to get her former roommate.
Well, and both the women and the men have 1 period left. If they want to save anything, well, this is the time to spend it. They've had all day prepared for this. 6 jams for each set. That's all we got.
I I'll tell you what has surprised me. Suddenly, Karen Magnussen and the enforcers, for whatever reason, seems to have targeted Denise Loden. Obviously, Loden, the quarterback of the Sundog women, but that was a matchup, and there seems to be some bad blood there that I didn't really expect.
Well, I think every enforcer player targeted every Sundog player.
All right, jam number 1 in this 5th period for the women, and right off the bat, 2 Sundog jammers out on their own. This is, as we talked about, this is 38-33 for the Sundogs. Gina Lombardo and Lindsey Francis being pursued. I think that's Heather Gunnin. We'll take a look at her number as she comes around. No, indeed, it is Karen Magnussen.
Karen Magnussen going around.
Magnussen picks up some points.
With a little insult to injury from Denise Loden.
1 point for Karen Magnussen. The one thing that surprised me a little bit, Hawk, it looked there like she had an opportunity to pick up some more points, but I think they just want to keep this as close as they can. A lower scoring game obviously favors the slower but certainly more physical enforcers.
Well, I think what they want to do, and I think we have a replay right here, and we'll see where great, fantastic.
I mean, now see, Magnussen cut it on. She had a clear shot at the rest of the pack. I guess I can say I don't quite understand Mark D'Amato's philosophy.
Well, she had Denise Loden, I think, what it was, right in front of her, and she knew that if she squared up with Denise Loden as a smaller player, she might get in.
You could be well right indeed. Denise Loden, now a blocker, goes out, and this time I think it is Heather Gunnin who got by her. This is indeed Heather Gunnin, 3-time Pan Am gold medal winner.
Not many people are going to catch her.
Underneath, but trying to get her is Debbie Rice. This is a matchup we talked about. You talk about no love lost. Look at Gunnin turning around, saying, come on, catch me, and Rice does just that, goes right by her.
Speed on speed, speed's what we need, speed's in the lead. Look at these two women going, oh, big Jannet Abraham lowers the boom on Debbie Rice.
I tell you what, Jannet Abraham didn't quite get the boom, but the one thing she did was slow down Heather Gunnin, her own.
Oh, she takes a spill, takes out her own.
Jannet Abraham, again, twice on that jam, took the wind right out of the sails of Heather Gunnin.
And Debbie Rice was getting a little bit, or Jannet Abraham was getting a little cute for the enforcers, was picking on Debbie Rice and took out her own Heather Gunnin. Here we go, we'll see it right here.
Now take a look, Linda Leisure taking exception with her teammate. There again, boom, cuts off the leg whip on her own teammate, Heather Gunnin. Very, very, Debbie Rice now, the recipient, picking up 1 point, is standing by with our Nicole.
So Debbie, tell me, how good does it feel to be in a contact sport against Heather Gunnin?
Feels great. She's always had the upper hand in our speed skating races. She was always a dirty skater. And this payback time.
Are you enacting revenge?
Oh, big time. I'm so ready to get her.
Thank you.
Now here we go with the 3rd jam.
Karen Magnussen out front again.
This is Magnussen out front, but Denise Loden goes right by her. This is the other matchup we talked about. There seems to be a lot of ill will between Magnussen and Loden. Certainly the most physical confrontation of the two were knotted at 19. Loden goes by with another big elbow.
These girls are just taking shots at each other. It's like that old game you played in the yard where you just punch each other in the shoulder.
Look at that. Denise Loden goes right by Jannet Abraham. This is 2 jams in a row. Jannet Abraham almost has been helping the Sundogs, certainly inadvertently, but 2 big points by Denise Loden, and Jannet Abraham beginning to get a little ear of her own teammates.
Well, we talked about Denise Loden being the most physical by far of the Florida Sundog women, and Jannet Abraham got a little bit of that firsthand. I think we got a replay queued up here. Here you see Denise Loden coming up toward Jannet Abraham. Jannet Abraham passed like she was standing still. And Jannet Abraham actually loses her footing and takes out half the team for the enforcers.
And look at Denise Loden just nodding her head, turning around and say, take that.
Little smirk.
And I tell you, you've got to think about Jannet Abraham, the biggest of the enforcer women, period number 5. She could be just beginning to wear down. Nicole, you've got Denise Loden.
Denise, that was a killer move on Karen Magnussen. Are you going to continue to fight fair for the rest of these jams?
I'm going to fight fair for as long as I have to, but when they start dealing it out dirty, they're going to get it served right back up to them on a silver platter.
Thank you.
Well, suddenly the Sundogs back out in front of this one, 21-19, much to the chagrin and courtesy of some bad philosophy and bad thinking by Jannet Abrams. Now we've got an enforcer and a Sundog loose as they come around the near side of the track. 34 for the Sundogs is Kathy Evangelo, and Hawk, I didn't pick up. Now we can pick up the number.
That's our Karen Magnussen, or that's our Heather Gunnin.
This is
Speedster.
Gunnin and Evangelo, and this time the elbow works for Gunnin now. The speedster closes in on the pack. Heather Gunnin trying to go by. Gets the big elbow. So far, no way, no points. Now she sneaks by, and again, very quickly cuts off the jam.
I really like this Heather Gunnin there, Ken. I tell you, she talks a good game. She smirks. She talks smack, but she also backs it up with action.
Remember, in the World Skating League, the lead jammer, by placing both hands on her hips, can cut off the jam at any time. Exactly what Heather Gunnin did by picking up 1 point and calling off the jam.
Well, she's hot. God, is she hot.
You are unbelievable.
So is she.
You define description, Hawk. It is 21-20. Sundogs in the lead as we start jam number 5. This is 31 for the enforcers. Chellie Rossell out.
And Kathy Evangelo. Kathy Evangelo spent a lot of time out of the head of the pack. She's got her by the hair, Ken.
And Kathy Evangelo is no longer spending any time at the head of the pack. Here comes Chellie Rossell closing in. The enforcers need some points. They trail this one by 1.
Chellie Rossell, somebody we didn't talk about a lot in the pregame, has really came to play today.
30 seconds left in the jam. Now you see Jannet Abraham back in the pack. Hopefully this time she'll be able to avoid her own teammate.
Well, I think you're right, kid. She's really getting tired. Carrying that much of weight around for a whole game. By the time they get to the 5th period, she's got to be.
Now, look at that. Great move. This time, Jannet Abraham moved the entire pack high on the track. Chellie Rossell went down and went by the whole pack absolutely unimpeded. This time, Jannet Abraham's size played to her advantage, something we haven't seen so far in this period.
Well, I think we got a replay coming up here. Yes, we do. Of the hair pull. This shows you the physical punishment these women take at the hands of each other, which personally I think is great.
Well, Chellie Rossell, the mother of 3,
well, Kathy Evangelo got that kind of attitude firsthand as she almost went off the track.
6th and final period underway. Period number 5, 23-21 enforcers.
And Denise Loden just shot, I can't get the number on who the lead, that's number 34. That's Kathy Evangelo. Denise Loden shoots her out ahead of the pack.
Evangelo and Debbie Rice for the Sundogs, and coming around is Heather Gunnin. This is a matchup we want.
And she was talking, Ken. She was squawking at the 2 Sundogs as she blew past them with some of that Guinness Book speed.
Talking trash, Heather Gunnin. There is no question there. Debbie Rice not showing that 62-mile-an-hour speed. Now 2 of the Sundogs go down, and some points scored for the enforcers. This time, Heather Gunnin picks up some points on the scoreboard. Very happy indeed.
And
there you see her.
I like her, Ken. She's aggressive. She can talk smack. She backs it up. She's my girl over here. I love her. I love her.
Oh, we've got it going now. If Mike Miller, our director, could get a camera on it. Great job, Mike. Take a look. There the Sundogs.
Here's my girlfriend. Good for her.
Debbie Rice going after Rice. Let's say Heather Gunnin going after Debbie Rice, and she comes back again. The referee's pulled her off. She goes right back after her former roommate.
And we talked about it at the outset. They both had no kind words for each other about 2 hours ago. And here they are again beating the heck out of each other. This is great.
The referee's trying to contain Heather Gunnin, and we've got to take a commercial. If anything happens, we'll show it to you. We'll be back with more. Period 6 right after this.
Get online at www.rollerjam.com. Get the latest info on your favorite team. Email players and fans, even buy your favorite Jam merchandise, all with the click of a mouse. Get online and get to www.rollerjam.com.
We are getting ready to start the 6th and final period. Hawk, this is what it all comes down to. 25-21, New York Enforcers. Everything is on the line. And talk about some great matchups. We can look at the coaching philosophies of Mark D'Amato, the difference of Little Richard. You've got Tim Washington with his redneck radar, set his sights on David Gletty, and the game hanging in the balance. What more could you ask?
Well, we've talked about good versus evil, gruesome versus wholesome. We've got it all. Let's see how the final few minutes pan out.
Now, in the penalty box, you will see 2 men, David Gletty of the Sundogs and one of the enforcers. In WSL rules, if women receive a penalty with less than 1 jam remaining, in their period. That penalty does carry over into the next period. However, it is served by the men. That's why you see men in the penalty box. Hawk?
Well, and Gletty and Brian Gamble are wasting no time at continuing the feud that the women began last period, and they're taking up this period.
It is 25-21 Enforcers. This is the sixth and final period, barring overtime. It is all on the line, and right off the flame, Sam Martin out in front for the Sundogs, J.R. Widener for the Enforcers. And we've seen this matchup earlier on, and this time,
sure have.
Flame, Martin puts Widener down with an elbow. Sam Martin, unheralded coming into this game, is showing his speed and showing his physical play. What a great asset he is proving to be to the Sundogs.
Well, and the Sundogs have been doing this all day as Mark D'Amato takes a shot to the jaw of the Flame.
Now, had the referee seen that, that should have been a penalty because you are not allowed to throw an elbow in WSL action above the shoulders. That's clearly above the shoulder.
Well, Mark D'Amato and Tim Washington are playing pinball with the Flame as he goes down. I don't know if Sam Martin can take too much of this. You've got Tim Washington going about 700 pounds. Mark D'Amato, who looks like he should be in prison.
I tell you what, I give Sam Martin all the credit in the world. He is as gutsy as they come. Tremendous effort the Sundogs have been getting tonight from Sam Martin. They're trying to put him out of the game.
Well, and the boys, we just got a shot at them. They are encouraging this type of behavior. Don Lastra is trying to bring some reason to this feud.
Now the question is going to be if we can get a trainer over to take a look at the knee of Sam Martin. Boy, what a horrible loss he would be to the Sundogs if he is unable to continue.
Well, yeah, his speed really has helped the Sundogs through this physical beating. I think we got a replay queued up as our crack training staff. Here we'll see the injury.
Look at both the Enforcers just waiting for Sam Martin. First the elbow right to the head, right on the chin. I'll tell you what, he caught him square. And look at Washington just stayed there just in case Martin got up, just waiting for him. Now Sam Martin is up, but I'll tell you what, I don't think he's going to be back on the track for a while.
Well, no, the refs can't see everything, but that was obviously a cheap shot on behalf of Big Tim Washington, which personally I think is very uncalled for.
As we see Sam Martin trying to loosen up the knee. Remember, fans, if you find yourself here in Orlando and you're going to come to Universal Studios, you can be a part of our live studio audience. You can feel the excitement as the teams of the WSL fight it out live. For more information, call the number on your screen. Free tickets are available. Call today. Come be part of the live action here at Roller Jam at Universal Studios. Jam number 2 underway now. Tim Washington out in front for the Enforcers, as is Mark D'Amato. Little Richard, now the captain of the Sundogs, wearing the Jammer helmet. So far, he's been unable to get loose. Now, Washington and D'Amato spring one of, look at the whip from Tim Washington. Yeah. Little Richard went underneath. But Dan Giovanni out with battling Little Richard. It is Washington, Dan Giovanni, and Little Richard. And Little Richard sends Giovanni down. Now Tim Washington and Mark D'Amato both drop to the back of the pack. Little Richard trying to catch his breath. 30 seconds remaining in this jam for one final rush. They trail this one 25-21.
And Little Richard Brown, the cagey veteran, has come out to play this sixth period. He realizes he's got nothing left after this.
Look at Mark D'Amato waiting for him, the big elbow. D'Amato and Little Richard, now the knee. D'Amato spins around, see Richard with the breath knocked out of him. He's got the win. Now comes Little Richard. D'Amato waiting for him again.
Well, Little Richard has been a little bit unheard from all game, and he makes another spin move.
Oh, another spin move, and he picks up 1 point, and he taunts Mark D'Amato. And I can tell Little Richard is happy, but I don't know if I would be taunting Mark D'Amato. I don't think he's exactly the guy you want to get his dander up. Little Richard very pleased with himself. He picked up a point.
And Little Richard all game has been trying to keep the Sundogs into their game, not getting away from it.
Nicole is standing by. I don't envy you, Nicole. Your guest, Mark D'Amato.
Little Richard's really getting the best of you. Are you going to take that from him?
Yeah, you know what? This is Little Richard's retirement night because I'm putting him out before the end of this game.
Back to you, Ken.
I'll tell you what, Mark D'Amato, one thing you have to say, you don't like it, but so far tonight, Mark D'Amato has backed up every word he's issued.
Well, have we got any kind of his police report? Because I'm certain he's got outstanding warrants somewhere.
I understand, Hawk, from our producer, Brian Gudinski, that it's still being printed out. It's on page number 14.
As soon as you get it, I want it.
There you go, Mark D'Amato with the whip, and look who tags right along, hooked his elbow. Sam the Flame Martin back
from the dead.
Sam Martin out jamming for the Sundogs.
Fred Eichhorn, Sam Martin, nipping tough.
Sam Martin, boy, I'll tell you what, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, but the size of the fight in the dog.
I thought it was the motion in the ocean.
Sam Martin, would you cut it out? Sam Martin has as much fight as anybody you've ever seen. It is 25-22 enforcers now.
Brian
Shot
Gamble,
to the head.
the martial arts specialist, hitting Sam Flay Martin about 3 times.
There's the same spin move. Obviously learning that from his veteran coach, Little Richard. Oh, is Sam Martin happy? The knee is back, and he is picking up a point. But now wait, here's Brian Gamble coming back with a shove from behind. Thankfully, Little Richard, the referee, get there. What a great, great move by Sam Martin.
And we got
Watch
a replay
this replay. Learned it from his veteran coach. Boom, the elbow. There's a physical play. Into the boards goes Brian Gamble. Now watch this move.
Well, this is Brian Gamble right here with the big shot to the face of Sam the Flame Martin. Sam the Flame Martin actually, I think, fakes a little injury. Our martial arts specialist, Gamble, sets him up, blows right past him for the score, stops the jam. Good for him.
The same spin move patented by Little Richard. Obviously, Little Richard taught that to his protege, Sam the Flame Martin, coming into jam number 4, 25-23 enforcers. Remember, this is a 6th and final period, barring overtime. It's all on the line. Mark D'Amato out. Gives John Morrissey, the skull, Morrissey the whip. Out comes Morrissey, and look again who is out for the Sundogs. The Flame Martin. It is Morrissey and Martin as they come around the track. 40 seconds in the jam.
And the Flame just took a shot to the face. Tim Washington landed on his knee, and he's still out there scoring points, trying to get around to the pack to score points.
And down goes Morrissey. Sam Martin, no other jammer out for the enforcers. 28 seconds to go. Martin closing in on the pack. Back.
A rematch, Gamble and the Flame.
Now Gamble puts him in a headlock, takes him right in. Oh, look at that. What a move by Sam Martin. Brian Gamble tried to throw him into the fence. Martin turned the tables, reversed it, sent Gamble into the fence. Now, Mark D'Amato Pearl harbors him from behind. Everything is broken loose.
Now, Little Richard's in there. Brian Gamble, Tim Washington, the whole D'Amato crew.
Referee Sean Corbin needs some help. Now here
comes the Gator boy. David Gletty takes a cheap shot at Tim Washington. It's a melee. This is beautiful. There's the boys. It's getting ugly. Oh my God.
Boy, the enforcer fans are loving this. Little Richard puts Mark D'Amato down. Now
he's unconscious.
Oh, this is terrible. The referees have got to restore some order. What a haymaker. Little Richard.
There's David Gletty, the Gator boy. Tim Washington going on the one-on-one argument we talked about. There's the boys.
We'll let the referees sort this out. We'll check for injuries, check for penalties. We'll have the whole update for you right after this. We are back. There you see the tail end of the fight. Thankfully, order has finally been restored here at Roller Jam Arena. But during the fight, a very unfortunate incident. Referee Don Lastra injured, and we think he suffered a broken arm. Now the referee, visibly upset, in a lot of pain, feels that injury was inflicted by the enforcer's captain, Mark D'Amato.
I want him thrown out. I want him banned. I want to see the commissioner. I want to see the commissioner about that. Referees do not take that abuse from skaters.
There's no question, Hawk. Commissioner Jerry Seltzer is going to have his hands full. I don't care what sport it is. At no time should a participant lay his hands on an official.
Well, and Lastra, unfortunately, he was actually trying to break up, I believe, Tim Washington and Gator boy David Gletty. Unfortunately, these things do happen. I don't agree with necessarily the tactics, but it's part of the sport. And I don't think that any of the players took it upon themselves to hurt Don, but
well, we will
see how it plays out.
Our Nicole is standing by with Mark D'Amato. He calls himself the most dangerous man in skating, but I don't think even he wanted to hurt an official.
Mark, it says Don Lastra is saying he wants you banned from the game. What do you have to say about that?
Listen, I never worried about two-bit referees. Referees are a dime a dozen. We dominate, baby! We dominate!
All right, this is the 5th jam. 25-23 enforcers. Now we're down to one referee. And Hawk, I tell you what, I'm a little worried. I don't know if Sean Corbin can keep this thing under control because 2 referees couldn't even do it.
Well, you're right, and Lasky got hurt at a really bad time because this is the last piece of action here today, and these guys are really going to be selling out, going for it.
It is 25-23 Enforcers over the Sundogs. This, the 5th of 6 jams in this period. Now, right now, look at Little Richard, the recipient of a double whip from his teammates, almost lost his balance. Not used to that kind of speed, but here comes Little Richard. His team down by 2. 20 seconds left in this jam. He better hurry to try and catch up with the pack. And speaking of the pack, at the back, laying in wait, Captain Mark D'Amato and Big Tim Washington battling it out right now with David Gletty. 10 seconds to go in the jam. Richard better hurry.
Well, here comes Richard Brown. They were fighting before the break. Let's see how this plays out here at the end of the period.
Gletty tried, couldn't do it. Mark D'Amato sends Little Richard over the railing out on the concrete floor. We'll check on the condition of Little Richard.
Oh, no, here we go.
D'Amato looking like he's getting ready to go out over him. The boys loving it.
The boys are loving it. They're gloating at the fact that Little Richard Brown is on his back, having been just strewn from the track. The event staff has to try to break these guys up.
The bottom line, we are down to 1 jam. There are 6 jams in a period here in the WSL. We have had 5. It is Enforcers 25, Sundogs 23. Take a look at the elbow from Mark D'Amato. Over goes Little Richard, all the way down, and then he bangs into the step going up to the stands here at Roller Jam Arena. There you see Little Richard trying to get up. And you know, this is almost the end of the game. Little Richard is not the youngest of skaters by any means, Hawk. I don't know if he can come back from this one.
Well, you hit it on the head. He ain't the youngest cat in town, but I tell you what, there's 1 jam left. The score is very close. His Sundogs are going to try to steal victory from the jaws of defeat.
We are underway. The 6th and final jam, 25-23 Enforcers, and now the last thing the Sundogs needed. Out on the jam by himself for the Enforcers is J.R.
Widener takes off out away from the pack.
Here comes Pasi Schalin, the fastest of the Sundog men's skaters.
The king. He falls down.
Widener goes down, loses his balance. Schalin goes by. What is Schalin doing?
He's coaxing
to taunt him. Widener goes down again. 35 seconds left.
This is unbelievable.
25-23 Enforcers. Here comes Schalin.
Number 12, Fred Eichhorn, eyeing him up.
Eichhorn, D'Amato, both at the back of the pack. 25-23. We're down at 25
He's going to try to make a pass past Eichhorn. Eichhorn wants to have none of it. Sets up D'Amato. Oh! Right to the midsection of the king.
That's a screamer. Mark D'Amato. Pasi Schalin is down.
Goes down again. Mark D'Amato inflicting punishment upon punishment.
Gives him the splash. 8 seconds left. I think that the referee has cut off the jam. Schalin injured. It's over.
Enforcers up by 2.
This game is over. The Enforcers win it 25-23.
How could he cut off the jam?
A referee in the WSL can cut off any jam if a skater is injured. Certainly, the referee, I think, did the right thing.
Little Richard Brown going at it with Mark D'Amato, jaw to jaw, fist to fist, mouth to mouth. The game's over. They're still going at it.
Little Richard got us obviously frustrated. What a golden opportunity the Sundogs had in the palm of their hands. Little Richard, watch it slip through. Schalin went down, injured. Now let's get an update. If our Nicole Katz is standing by trying to get the referee.
Why did you cut off the jam?
Because the skater was down for more than 5 seconds. While he is a penalized player, he will receive 1 point for the illegal hit. But they needed 2 to tie and 3 to win. They only got 1 point. They lose 25-24, Enforcers win.
Oh, the Sundogs just got to be disgusted with that. The Enforcers make it into a melee, and they actually win because of it. That's got to just rub their craw.
Certainly the Sundogs very frustrated, but understand it is a referee's discretionary call here in the WSL. He can award anywhere from 1 to 5 points. Now watch what happens.
This is Fred Eichhorn setting up the finish flash as Mark D'Amato is laying in wait to go right to the midsection of Pasi Schalin.
Mark D'Amato, he calls it the screamer, and it ended the game. Now adds a body splash, just lays out Pasi Schalin. A deliberate attempt to injure Schalin. Now again, in the WSL, it is a referee's discretion. On the final jam of the game, if a skater is injured, he can award anywhere from 1 to 5 points, but he cannot overtake the other team. The referee in this instance awarded 1 point. The Sundogs lose it 25-24 to the Enforcers. What a heartbreak for the Sundogs. hard-fought victory for the Enforcers, 25-24. Hawk, the Sundogs have just got to be beside themselves. They had victory within the grasp.
Well, little Richard Brown has got to be just sick that the fight ended, or that the game ended with a fight, and they lost.
In fact, joining us now is the captain of the Enforcers, Mark D'Amato. Mark, first off, right or wrong, congratulations. Certainly the Sundogs gave you all you wanted and then some.
Right, they did. We came in, we did what we said we'd do. We dominated, we destroyed, we defeated.
Mark, let me ask you, why at the very end, Pasi Schalin was down, referee had already waved off the game, you had it won, did you body splash him? What was that all about?
Let's make one thing clear, I don't have to answer either one of you chumps' questions.
Well, I've got one more question for you. Was this an active effort on your part to turn this into a fist fight and a shouting match to get the Sundogs out of their game?
Absolutely, and Pasi Schalin, whatever the hell his name is, he's on my list, as well as Richard Brown.
Schalin.
Well, Mark, again, I understand your philosophy of playing as physical a game as you need to be and within the rules. There is nothing wrong with that. But it was a deliberate attempt to injure a man after you already had the game won.
Well, that's the part where I derive my personal pleasure.
I just don't understand it.
Yeah,
I mean, was that necessary?
Don't worry about it.
Are you trying to send a message to the rest of the league?
They can get the message if they want to. I'm here to dominate this league, and that's what this team's going to do.
All right, one final question. Getting away from your action, talk to us about why you wear quad skates that are obviously slower than inline.
I don't answer that question.
I don't know. He is indeed the captain of the New York Enforcers. Enforcers, to say the least. Let's go to Jam Center with Broadway. Danny Wolf standing by with Sean Atkinson.
Thanks, guys. We just heard from Mark D'Amato, a key factor in the Enforcers winning this game 25-24.
Cue ball.
What are you talking about?
Mark D'Amato. You know what? I was by the track, and I thought I heard a creak, and guess what? Mark D'Amato was rolling around the track. Prehistoric, baby. Fossil. Yabba dabba doo.
Let's go to a highlight. Watch here. Watch what's going on right there. Oh, the screamer, Sean.
Oh, man.
How are you going to beat the Sundogs?
Show up.
That's all you have to do?
There you go. Show up.
And that's it.
That's
it's a W. All you have to do is
as soon as they go on the track, guess what? They're afraid of the men.
Oh, daddy! Woo! I just hope you can back up. You know, these skaters are listening to what you're saying here. You've got a lot of words to back up, Sean Atkinson.
Yakka.
No, everything you've been saying here, you got to back it all up on the track.
You sound like a whole bunch of crap. And you know what you do with crap?
Got to cut you off here. Roller Jam fans, great game tonight. Again, your final score, Enforcers 25, Sundogs 24.
Well, thank you, Danny Hawk. There is no question if this game was any indication what a year it's going to be here in the World Skating League.
Well, we had men fighting, we had women pulling hair, we had refs bleeding. If tonight was any indication, we're in for a hell of a year, a great year.
It had everything in all your fantasies, didn't it?
And more.
Once again, the final score this week, the Enforcers 25, the Sundogs 24. Remember, next week on Roller Jam, the St. Florida Sundogs against the California Quake. Now, for all of us here in the WSL, Nicole, Katz, Danny Wolf, my broadcast partner, Hawk Rehereman, I'm Ken Resnick saying we'll see you next time. So long, everybody.
They go round and around and around with the roller derby.